Honourable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when South Africa was afforded the opportunity to chair Sadc, taking over from the Kingdom of Eswatini, we resolved to build on initiatives that were started in Victoria Falls, were taken to Gaborone, and later to Lozita in Eswatini. We needed to maintain the focus on industrial development, promotion of regional value chains, and value addition in the region. In this regard, in the theme of our tenure of office, which we termed, and in quotes, I give to you now, partnering with the private sector in developing industry and regional value chains, close quote. This was chosen with the full realization that our goals can only be met if we focus on strong and meaningful partnerships with the private sector, which is part of the engine for sustainable economic growth. Honourable Ministers, distinguished guests and gentlemen, from the time of that historic decision to front-load industrialization in the regional development framework was taken in August 2014 by our heads of state and government at the Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. We collectively and tirelessly worked to ensure that the dreams become a true reality through our implementation for our people. Not only has our community produced the best strategy for our region and the first of its kind in the Sadc industrialization strategy roadmap, we have also taken concerted efforts to ensure that we're able to build productive capacities within member states, and each one of them. Through this strategy, we recognize that trade liberalization can only meaningfully contribute towards sustainable and equitable development whilst meeting the goals for poverty alleviation. Production should not only be in terms of quantities, but also quality, based on effective and efficient systems while being mindful of the comparative advantage of member states. Honourable Ministers, we all know that for a very long time, regional industrialization growth, particularly in the manufacturing sector, has been less than impressive, and our economies are insufficiently diversified. We have overly relied on few primary commodity exports, making our member states extremely vulnerable to price shocks. And it is now time that we diversify our economies, increase our participation as well. We must collectively work towards accelerating economic integration and processes that will promote the specialization of development value chains. I'm delighted that we have progressively put in place policies and institutions that will promote the adoption of technological know-how, ensuring modernization and production systems, as well as embracing skills development, science, and technology. To further realize these objectives, we will have to continue strengthening financial systems that would facilitate availability and movement of capital. And stable. Peace, security, and stability are essential ingredients for sustainable economic growth, poverty alleviation, addressing inequalities and underdevelopment in the region. The region's democratic footprint and its prevailing positive security political climate is undoubtedly conducive to the promotion of investment inflows into the region and contributes towards intra-trade and the movement of capital. We will therefore continue to guard our hard-won freedom by ensuring that member states continue to adhere to good governance, the rule of law, and ensuring that regular national democratic elections are held. We remain seized with the political developments in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the Kingdom of Lesotho, and the Republic of Madagascar in order to find lasting solutions to achieve peace and stability in those countries. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again express my profound appreciation on behalf of my government and the people of the Republic of South Africa. It has indeed been a great honor and a privilege and a pleasure to steer the affairs of the Council of Ministers. I must say I enjoyed enormous warmth and support from the Council of Ministers. Recently, when we were in Mauritania, we showed remarkable coherence in the way that we think, in the way that we articulate our views about ourselves and the future. And I hand over to you, to the chairpersonship of Namibia, I take comfort that to you, my dear sister and Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, you will continue to successfully advance the regional and integration agenda of the subcontinent in SADC. I implore each one of you to render unwavering support to the incoming Chair of Council as we demonstrate to the continent and the rest of the world that in SADC, women run these institutions. And as we demonstrate our commitment, our collective ideals and values, and I thank you for your attention. And now I hand over to you, Madam Deputy Prime Minister of Namibia, in the full knowledge that we will continue our traditions, we'll continue to show that when women are at the helm, nothing is beyond us. Why is such a limp applause? Here is a woman taking over the Council of Ministers, a woman Prime Minister. Very proud of her achievements. Thank you. Here's a trick, Madam Deputy Prime Minister. You can use this side of the gavel on somebody's head and this side to take a decision.
Can sit. Thank you, Honorable Dr. Lindiwe Sisulu, the outgoing chair of the Sadc Council of Ministers, Honorable Ministers and Deputy. It gives me a great pleasure on behalf of government and the people of the Republic of Namibia to welcome you all to Namibia and to the Council of Ministers meeting of the 38th SADC Ordinary Session. We are indeed very much honored and delighted to host the 38th SADC Ordinary Summit here in our capital city, Windhoek. Allow me to extend a special welcome to our brother, Honorable Mohamed El Amin Sof, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Union of Comoros, to the Sadc family, representing his country as the new member of Sadc. Equally, I welcome all honorable members of the Sadc Council of Ministers who are attending the Council of Ministers for the first time. In the same vein, I must express my profound appreciation on behalf of all ministers to the outgoing chairperson of the Council, Honorable Dr. Lindiwe Sisulu, and her predecessor, Honorable Maite Mshabane, for the commendable work they have done during their term of office. I further wish to commend the outgoing chair of the organ, Honorable Manuela Domingos Augusto, for the job well done. Furthermore, we highly recognize the important role and the support we have been and continue to receive from Dr. Tax, Sadc Executive Secretary, and the whole Secretariat. We really appreciate the work you are doing with your team. Honorable Ministers, in Namibia there's a say that one finger cannot pick up a list. Against that background, as I take over the chair of our council, I will rely on your support and cooperation to ensure that our organization meets the expectation of the citizens of this region. And before I go into the business at hand, and as our outgoing chair mentioned, the importance we attach to democracy, let me refer to our region that we continue to uphold political stability and peace. In this context, I therefore congratulate Zimbabwe on the recently concluded peaceful elections. Honorable Ministers, as ministers, our task is to assist our heads of state and governments to make informed decisions. It is therefore critical that the Council has to make a deep and thorough analysis on the operations of the organization in implementing the decisions of the previous summits. We have also to unpack the theme of the 38th Sadc Summit,